Are you going to say it?
We're live.
Welcome to the Lost Together podcast. I'm Joe, and this is just one man's attempt to convince his wife that Lost is one of the greatest television shows ever written, directed, produced, acted in, shot in Hawaii, partially shot in Australia, or probably some places made to look like Australia with lots of people either actually having Australian accents or pretending to have Australian accents. Oh, I don't know. I think that's going to be the end of the chain because we have a lot to get into.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. You may notice that the title to this video is a little different than the titles to other videos which we have put on YouTube, and there is a reason for that. Those who have been listening to the first handful of episodes that we put up noticed that on the last episode, the sound quality was garbage. All right, and we'd like to apologize for that, but also to thank everybody for the wonderful engagement, which we'll get into in a minute. So the thing is, to give you a little bit of backstory about us, you are in our living room right now.
Yep.
And we are two people with full-time jobs and three kids. Mm-hmm. And so we watch the episodes when we can, and then we record our response, ideally right after or maybe, the next day.
A lot of times it did not happen that way. But it just didn't.
But we really did try to stick to watching an episode and then recording an episode before we watched the next episode.
Yes, that happened, I'd say 99% of the time. You gave me one episode where we got to watch the next one without recording. One time in a whole season.
So, after All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy Issues, from that episode through the finale, we have recorded episodes.
Yep, every single one.
But all of them have even worse sound quality than the last one that we posted. So we are, truly amateur podcasters, if you couldn't tell.
Literally don't know what we're doing.
The little handheld, so we bought like a recording device with two microphones sticking out of it, and it has a volume button. And so what happened was that while we were checking the audio on one of the episodes that we recorded, we turned the volume down, and we didn't know that that would affect the recording. So the volume, it basically records at a lower volume. So that is just something that we did not know as people that don't work with sound.
And we don't know how to fix it. So essentially we've lost hours of recorded audio.
I was going to try to calculate that out real quick, how many hours we've actually lost.
I would say that every episode ends up being about 45 minutes, between 45 to 50 minutes. So just call it an hour.
So if you call it an hour from episode 12 on, so that's about 12 to 13 episodes. So
here we are making this video for you guys because we are not going to re-record because number one, we can't recreate that. The whole deal is like my reactions to the show. I can't recreate that with any kind of authenticity, so we're just gonna talk about it here in front of you with our beautiful faces.
So the idea that we had would be that we would review the remainder of season 1, so essentially the back half of season 1 and the first 2 episodes of season 2 in this episode, and then after this we'll do these video episodes going forward as our response instead of just listening to our voices. I actually was, without talking about exactly where I work, part of what happens at the place I work is there's actually some media that's produced in-house. And I was talking to the guy over that department, and he said that if you're going to do a podcast or you're going to do a video of any kind, that audio and video together gets much better engagement than just audio.
I agree.
No matter how you
agree.
Lay it out.
Yeah. So. I love, I listen to a couple of podcasts that are just like scary stories and stuff like that. And you don't have to see the people because I'm not listening to the people. I'm listening to stories. But in this podcast, you guys are getting to know us. Mm-hmm. So here we are. Well, I agree. Seeing each other. And, if you comment on Facebook, we can see your face on Facebook, so it feels like we know each other.
So I want to start by doing a messages in a bottle, and the reason for that is that I want to read some comments that were posted, so they're quite extensive.
Oh, geez. I love the messages in the bottle. I think it's so cool that you guys like take time out to do that. I love that. It's really cool.
So first from Greg, one of our favorite contributors, because he runs the Lost Disproving the Unanswered Questions myth page on Facebook, and Lostopedia, which Morgan loves, despite what she said in one of the
I
early
do,
episodes.
actually. I was so wrong. I shit so hard on this show in the beginning.
Yeah.
I really did. I was wrong. Do you see me saying it? I was wrong.
So mission accomplished, but we still, I want to get through this so that we can keep watching it, because it has now been like...
Oh my God, we've not watched it in...
2 weeks.
It's been longer than that. It's been a minute.
Yeah. So from Greg, another great job. I think it's very interesting, Joe, that you picked up on the fact that it wasn't until Jack found out the patient was pregnant that he finally reported his father for malpractice for the operation in which she lost her life. This seems to fit into the wider themes of loss, leadership, and babies. Fun fact, this was actually around the time that Evangeline Lilly and Dominic Monaghan started dating, and they were together until 2007.
Tom, who are those people?
Kate and Charlie.
They were dating in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, this.
Well, they don't date on the show at all. I mean...
No, I know.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, didn't know that.
Monaghan has said that the breakup was his biggest heartbreak. He told Anna Faris on her podcast that he was devastated and that he had a lot of growing up to do. He also said that his drinking and partying contributed to the split. It's actually very common for most guys to feel the same way toward Charlie that you and I do, Joe, while women see a whole different side of him. The guy-girl divide between you two is textbook, which brings me to... For a bit of insight into what Dominic was like in real life and why his relationship with Eve didn't work, look up some of his past breakups/encounters linked below. For example, there's the famous story about how he told a woman she appeared riddled with herpes when she turned him down for sex.
That's why you don't like him. He's a freaking butthole.
Well, I didn't know this, so this is new. I don't like him.
He's a butthole.
Purely because I think he's a creep on the show.
Okay.
And that's one of the nicer stories. He also boasted in text messages how he's superior to one woman because he has $20+ million in the bank before clapping back, "How you living?"
Ooh, king of the castle.
Yeah. The exchange I screenshot below is particularly interesting given an upcoming Charlie flashback. The reason I bring all this up is because I think there's a lot of the real Dom in the character of Charlie, and I'm pretty sure the writers did this on purpose to get the most out of the actor. Yet for some reason, while guys get a sense of this, women still see him differently. And there's the huge fight Dom picked with Matthew Fox in 2013. So Matthew Fox is Jack.
Okay.
So the actor that plays Jack.
Okay.
In 2013, in which he made some truly heinous allegations against him publicly instead of going to authorities and reporting it to them, something he still hasn't done to this day. Wonder why.
Oh my God. I hate that. I hate that Charlie's a butthole.
So, quote from Charlie, "Can you do math? My movies have made over $3 billion. The show that I'm currently on that I created plays in 120 countries.
On the basis for Drive Shaft or whatever.
When did I ever say I wanted to have sex with you? You appear riddled with herpes and smell odd. I couldn't invite you to one of my 3 houses. I'd be nervous you would steal shit. Erase this number and stop crying over me not replying. You keep hitting me up even when I treat you like the dum-dum you are. Take a hint and a wash."
The dum-dum, not the dum-dum. What a freaking prick. I hate that.
So, Daniel Shepard, one of our other regular contributors underneath, "Yep, Monaghan is a real ass. He came to Lost with a big head after just having completed Lord of the Rings. He's not even one of the better hobbits."
He did that scene with the tomatoes, the guy eating the tomatoes.
Is he? No, I think
he sings the song.
No, that's Mary. I think he's Pippin. Mary is the kind of softer looking one.
I've seen Lord of the Rings one time. That was all I needed.
You also saw it in the years after Lost ended on Twitter, in which he'd berate fans for asking questions about Lost. I guess he wanted to ask questions about Lord of the Rings or
Drive Shaft.
Yeah, Drive
Or
Shaft.
his 3 houses.
Kiera Gordon, new contributor.
Hi, Kiera.
"I used to love Dom until I heard these stories. Now I'm totally put off him. I note he's never apologized for any of this either."
Well, yeah, but you know what? I am going to not let this sully the picture that I have built in my brain of Charlie, okay?
You should, because it seems a lot to me. Charlie is
him
he's
being a
scumbag.
D-bag in real life.
I'm like,
They're a lot of the actors, not all of them, but a lot of actors are D-bags. But they play really wonderful characters. I bet you that Zac Efron sucks, but Charlie St. Cloud, great movie.
it's weird that we don't have other stories about the other actors from Lost like this, though. Since all actors are D-bags, but we're only getting stories about...
I didn't say all. I said most of them.
All right, so Greg continues. That's right. He had an FAQ on his Twitter which included rules about asking Lost questions. Basically, don't, because he felt he had already answered them all, and he'd publicly go anyone who dared break his rules.
Oh.
I actually understand his frustration here. It must drive him crazy hearing the same things over and over and having to answer the questions repeatedly. As a former TV producer...
Wow, Greg. What shows did you work on?
Am I on the... Is the camera getting my best?
Oh, God, yeah. Our lighting's terrible.
Our lighting is
really
terrible. Sorry about that. We don't have the bit of a setup, so...
And it is 8:46 on a Sunday night, and, you know, we didn't put much effort into this setup. I said we should get a backdrop that looks like an island.
She thought we could go to Party City and literally just find a giant picture of an island. It's not a thing.
Or Amazon. I mean, Jeff Bezos has provided, like, basically the whole of Christmas for our children. Like, we can get an island backdrop. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, I've witnessed myself so many times when hanging with celebs, their personal space being infringed upon, and them asking the same things, not to mention the whole selfie thing. I'd be hating it too, but he's a celebrity, and sadly, this is part and parcel of the game. It's not something he can control, but it is something he can manage if he chooses. Instead, he's been an ass about it. He also doesn't strike me as the kind of celebrity who hates the attention. Quite the opposite. He just appears to only want his way and doesn't quite understand the reality of the consequences of his behavior. Agreed.
Man, that's
Charlie
very Charlie.
sucks.
That's very Charlie. I hate that. I hate that this dude seems an awful lot like Charlie. I will not let it sully the picture of Charlie I have in my brain. He's a poor afflicted boy.
Matt J. Lewis says, Joe Green, this one's probably my favorite one yet. Our last episode that we posted.
Oh, I don't even remember what it was.
It was
so glad.
All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy Issues, the Fall Out Boy episode.
Oh,
yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Video podcast. Congrats on your budget increase from Daniel Shepard. Yeah, we had to talk to management, and so we pumped most of the budget into this wall of baskets behind us, and then the rest of it, we did not buy good lighting for the set. So sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
So that is that. So thank you all for...
Thank you so much. I think we talked about it in an episode somewhere back in the chain, but every now and then, Joe and I used to do, we called it the greenhouse effect.
Because our last name is Green. I don't know if that was ever made
Green
clear.
with an E.
Yeah.
Greenhouse effect. And we would do them on Facebook, and we would, like, eat weird stuff or argue or whatever. And, you know, it really just was for us. So, like, you guys watching this and, like, interacting with us on this is so cool.
It's really cool.
It's so cool.
'Cause, I mean...
And really validating. I really love it.
Very recently on Facebook Live, we tried banana and mayonnaise sandwich.
Yeah, we did.
Which was...
A banana sandwich, I think, is what we...
It was recommended as a Southern delicacy, and if you can't tell from our banjo voices, we are Southern, and so I had never heard of that, and we tried it.
No.
I thought it was okay.
The texture, terrible. It was like a pudding sandwich.
Yep.
Just pudding in a sandwich. But the taste really was not terrible.
It was not sturdy.
I would never eat it again. I would never eat it again. I never am going to be sitting at my house going like, man, I really wish I had a good banana sandwich.
I would eat it again.
What?
I might eat it. Not for leisure, but like if somebody had one, you know.
I've never seen a person make it ever. The only reason you'd have one is for leisure because you made it.
All right, so we have a lot to get into.
We do, and I'm so sorry. My God, it's been so long. Because when we first started this podcast, we've kind of like changed the ingredients a little bit. When we first started, I was, the whole time that the episode was on, I was on my phone. I was taking notes. And then, I mean, like, literally everything that happened. And so the podcast was me reading my notes. And then I felt like that was kind of annoying. and like it, what I was trying to do was like capture my actual
experience of the episode.
Yes. But then like listening back to it, I was like, man, that sounds like I'm reading. That sucks.
I just think the recap part of the episode went on a long time.
Yeah.
So
and like everybody's already seen it. Like that's why they're here. They already know what happened.
But listen, it may have been a long time since the last time they did a run of the show. Since the last time they watched it, and just kind of a reminder of what happened in the episode.
That's true. So I stopped taking notes and I started just like straight relying on memory. Mistake.
Those episodes
should not have done that.
Those episodes haven't been posted yet. So
because they're bad, because they're not substantive, because I have a terrible memory.
By the way, as a note, I think it was Greg that said he managed to put his like noise canceling on and was able to listen to it that way. And so, if you want, we can post them. But we'll kind of rely on feedback from viewers/listeners for that.
Yeah, so then it turned into we would watch the episode and then we would talk about it, and I would rely on memory but also look at the Wikipedia, which I see you've got pulled up, and I would rely on those highlight notes.
So I thought a good way to do this, because there are 12 episodes,
so many episodes,
rather than doing 45 minutes on each episode, I thought I would do a kind of general recap.
Cool.
And then we'll get like your general reaction to the first. Mm-hmm. So we've already passed the point by the time we're at All the Best Cowboys Have Daddy Issues where Morgan had started to enjoy the show. So we're not having to convince her to watch it anymore.
No, yeah, I'm so into it.
So shortly after that is where we get the situation where Kate and Sawyer are kind of off gallivanting. And
is that where they find the suitcase?
They find the suitcase, and it's the whole episode is like this big, huge deal, and it turns out that it's just a toy airplane inside the case.
And it was the only man she ever loved, and she killed him.
That's what she said.
Yeah. It's so annoying. God. Kate and her, through the whole show, even to now, I think Kate is so damn annoying. Just drop it, girl. Just drop it. That whole, I can't, I'm too tough, I can't talk to you. Shut up. God. I know she's, traumatized or whatever, but my God. Drop it. You're on an island. You're on a magic island. We don't need more mystery with you and your dumbass and your issues.
Do you think it's weird at all that the person that I'm most annoyed by is a man, and the person that you're most annoyed by is a woman on the island? Possibly some internalized misogyny on your part.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't know. I agree. I don't think Kate is super well written in this first season.
Does she get better?
Yeah,
she doesn't just say the stupid hot mystery girl or whatever.
Well, look, that is part of it, right? Obviously,
yes, it is.
Obviously, that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no getting around that. It's Hollywood. They specifically pick people who are good looking to be in these shows.
Mm-hmm. I think sometimes about Hollywood, and I think that current Hollywood has kind of taken a hard left from the way that they used to market and do shit. Do you remember the Hardee's commercials?
Yes.
Now tell me.
Now hold on. We don't know if we're talking to an international audience here and whether or not they did those same commercials over there. Just as a brief summary of the Hardee's commercials. Hardee's is a fast food restaurant here. It's actually not a super popular fast food restaurant.
It should be.
It's kind of a small chain.
They make great burgers.
They do. It's quality's gone down.
And good breakfast.
I think their breakfast is way better than their burgers. Anyway, that's beside the point. The commercials for Hardee's were always it
was like a White Snake music video, some girl in a bra and some little teeny tiny little Daisy Dukes washing a car and eating
a cheeseburger.
Yeah, what are there? It's not Whoppers.
$6 burger is what it used to be called. Yeah,
just this big fat burger, and she's taking a sensual big fat bite.
And there's mayonnaise running down.
And soap everywhere.
Okay,
sex sells.
Yeah, we get it, Hardee's. We get it.
This show came out in the Hardee's era. So,
yes.
Kate is this, hot mystery girl. I get that. But it's annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so they find the case. There's the airplane in the case, and then shortly after that, in the next episode,
That's the whole episode. I did not like that episode.
yeah. Well, the next episode is the kind of drug trip that Locke sends Boone on.
Yeah, he
with the
cracks him in
salve.
the back of the head with that thing and puts that goop on him, and then Boone sees Shannon like mauled and mangled by the monster.
I actually don't remember if they explain it, but how in the literal hell does Locke know how to make drug salve?
He is some kind of mystery shaman. Like, we can't talk about it yet because we're not there, but like, he had a whole life,
Yeah.
But I still am not sure. It's still not been explained how the hell Locke knows all the shit he knows.
It's actually funny because, like, now looking back on a whole season, you can look at pieces and know, like, you don't have to spend a ton of time on that. Like, Boone is, that's the episode where we get the, like, it's like
They're like, I'm stuck in the dryer, like...
Yeah, the Pornhub episode, basically, where it's like...
My jaw was on the floor.
I just kept waiting for the reveal of Boone
like,
and Shannon.
What? When that happened, I was like, what?
And they were 10 and 8 whenever they started living together. So they had been, kind of together
Yucky.
their whole lives.
I mean, that's a legit brother and sister situation.
I'd be really interested to see like what the audience reaction to that was at the time.
Well, I can tell you mine was shock and awe. Yeah. And just like, oh, damn. Like, I so did not see that coming.
So then we get into, and I said it at the time we were rewatching it, as soon as the episode came on, I remembered that there was something really triggering in this episode. Not for any particular reason. I don't know anybody like this, but who I consider the most despicable evil person in the entire run of the show, and that is Michael's ex-wife, Susan. Yeah.
Yep.
Michael's ex-wife, Susan, who
she sucks ass.
She is a monster.
Yeah, but like, okay, let's, Michael was not doing a ton to provide for Walt. Like,
hold on.
In the beginning, but then he got the construction job.
Sorry, how did she make it through law school? Did Michael pay for everything? No, he quit his art and started doing construction work to make sure that she could be fed and be able to focus on law school.
Yes.
She gets through law school, starts fucking her boss, right? And then ends up shacking up with him and moving to Europe. All of a sudden is like, oh, Michael, you're broke. What the fuck are you going to do about it?
Hear me when I tell you.
Evil.
She literally sucks ass. Like, sucks for Walt and stuff, but like, she got that blood cancer or whatever. Like,
not a hot take at all, but I'm super glad she died. She deserved it. So, I think she's terrible. I think
she's awful.
What
a cruel.
I also
woman.
think they didn't even bother to give her a redeeming quality.
No, they just were like, she sucks, and then she died.
The writers were like, look how much this lady sucks.
She sucks so bad, we're gonna kill her.
And now she's dead, right? And that was the end of Susan. So
period.
They killed her, and I was mega happy about it. The first time I watched it, and this time, even happier this time, because my kids are older. So anyway,
she sucked.
That happened. Brian drops Walt back off. It's like, this kid is
Brian
weird.
sucks. Brian sucks too.
Well, but Brian didn't misrepresent himself.
He did not. Yeah,
Okay.
He was like, I'm not trying to do all this.
Yeah.
And Walt was weird.
Yes.
And it's not his kid. Like,
well,
And
then he ends up on a plane and crashed on an island, which he didn't want to leave, and burnt a raft in order to keep from leaving.
Another moment where Michael worked so hard on that fucking raft. And, like, just like everybody else, I assumed it was Jen. Jen did it because he's on that, like...
I hate Michael.
Yeah, and the honor thing, like, it's... In that culture, it's a big deal. Like, and he's standing on business. And Michael was rude or whatever.
Strong parenting moment from Michael when Walt eventually... confesses to it.
Mm-hmm. He was so cool about it.
But that's how you should react when your kid actually is honest, owns what they did. And Walt did. He was like, look, I did it. I'm sorry. I want to tell you this, and he didn't have to be asked. He just told him, like...
That would have been a, Mommy needs a minute. Mommy needs a minute. You stay here. I'm going to leave. Because I would have been snapping necks. Like, he spent all that time, and then Walt was like, I didn't want to leave the island.
Yeah.
You burned the whole raft, dude?
Shortly after that is when they set the trap for Ethan, because Claire comes back.
Oh, yeah.
Set the trap for Ethan, and they get him, and they're about to, like, hey, who the fuck are you, and where are you from?
And then Shannon's like, bah.
No, Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
Charlie shoots him.
Oh, yeah, Shannon tries to shoot...
Locke.
Yeah.
Later on.
Yeah, shoots him like a bunch. Like Charlie didn't shoot him one time. He was like, bah, 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 bah.
So shortly after that, in the episode Outlaws, is when Sawyer is dealing with that boar, and it kind of shows the.
I like that episode.
Yeah, well, of course you do. Listen, so like obviously, like ridiculous. Anyway, it's not even a particularly good episode.
I thought it was great.
It's just a Sawyer episode, right? So I get it. I don't think I look like Sawyer at all.
You look better.
And I'm definitely shut up. And I'm definitely like not a con artist, and I have like a 9 to 5 and all that, and I never committed any crimes. So
yeah,
anyway,
great episode. I thought that was great. And isn't it? I'm trying to think. Something happened in that episode because Sawyer. Is that when we find out that his dad is the one that killed his mom, and then he shot himself on the bed while Sawyer was under the bed? Mm-hmm. Bless that baby. Bless that baby.
After his mom shacked up with a con artist named Mr. Sawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. No, that's not a Susan situation. Like,
no.
She got taken advantage of.
Yes, and obviously her husband was a crazy piece of shit. Like, no wonder you got cheated on, dude.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, so poor little, 9-year-old Sawyer's under the bed and watches his daddy's boots come in the room, sit on the bed, and then bow. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then the boar, they're like, I think Locke is trying to help him get the boar. Because the boar is, specifically fucking with Sawyer.
Yes. So...
Is that where we find it? Is that the one where he goes and... He shoots the guy, and it's the wrong guy.
Yeah. He got tricked into killing that guy.
I felt so bad. Did I cry? I think I cried. I
Yes.
felt so bad for him.
Oh, that poor, tortured Sawyer, and he is...
He got played, and he thought he was doing the thing he had to do, like his life's mission, and then he shot that guy, and the dude was like, tell him I'll pay, and Sawyer's like, what?
Yeah.
And then so he's got a new thing. His new mission is to get this boar that is getting him. And then I think Locke is helping him look at how the tusk marks were on the, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a lesson in letting go.
Yeah.
For Sawyer.
Yeah. Did they end up getting the boar? I don't remember. Or does it get away?
He does not kill it when he finds it. He lets it go.
He does, yeah, because he has an opportunity to kill it, and he doesn't.
Shortly after that is when we learn about Jin and how he's actually working for the mob.
I don't feel bad for him.
Korea. I feel bad for him.
I don't. I do not. I know that...
He helped keep that one guy from getting murked.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
and then he
did.
What's he supposed to say to Son, right? Hey, your gangster ass daddy told me that I had to go and kill this guy.
You want me to believe that Son does not know that her daddy is a mob boss?
It's not whether or not she knows. It's what her daddy will do to Jen if he's going home and running his mouth about it.
Like she doesn't know. I've never seen The Sopranos or The Godfather, but I know it's like, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. You're telling me that the daughter doesn't know that her daddy will kill everybody in there?
I'm going to guess that the rules of the Italian mob and the Korean mob are slightly different.
That's a wild assumption. You have no idea.
Also, she seems completely mystified when Jen says that he's going to work for her dad, and she's like, what do you do for my father?
Yeah, because she's probably like, oh, are you going to kill people or are you going to sell watches?
She genuinely doesn't know.
I don't know.
She doesn't know.
It's hard for me to believe.
Then, my favorite episode from season 1, Numbers, where we learned about Hurley and...
Man, the
numbers.
pieces really came together on that one. That was the episode. We watched the Jen episode where he, and a funny thing from that episode that I was like, what the hell? Like, what a weird thing. The first time he shows up to that guy's house when the daddy is like, I want you to deliver a message. And so Jen shows up and the dude opens the door and he's like, I'm here for Mr. whatever son's last name is. And he immediately is like, oh my God, like, oh. Jen's kind of confused. They go in the house. And then, like...
Hurley's on the TV.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. You made me rewind it and go, look at the TV. But the guy, like, gives Jen his daughter's dog, like, out of his daughter's lap. He's like, here you go. And then you never see the dog ever
yes,
again.
You do.
Where?
At Jen and Son's house.
They kept it?
Yeah.
Who's taking care of that dog while they're on the island?
I assume the Pound or whatever. So, yeah, Hurley, we found out about the numbers.
That episode is the one that we watched the Jen episode, and then you were like, I love this episode. We can watch this one without recording.
Yeah.
We'll watch it. And it was so good. Bless him.
Yeah.
Bless Hurley.
Yeah, and then that's where Morgan really put together that
numbers.
I was rating all of her predictions with just the numbers.
From the thing. I already knew that there was a guy that puts in numbers.
She's been saying that for the whole season, which we will get to. Let's not get super far ahead.
But I knew that it was a particular set of numbers.
Yeah.
But it didn't all come together for me that it was the numbers that you were rating me with.
Yeah.
So it was like, what a layered, fun experience for me. And God bless his heart. Like, his mama's mansion burned down. His grandpa died. What else happened to him? He, oh God, so much bad stuff happened to him. He got arrested.
Yep, he got arrested on accident, like he was mistaken for somebody.
Yeah.
His mom twists her ankle.
Yes, so Locke finally shows that him and Boone died. We totally skipped over that.
No, that hasn't happened yet at this point.
Boone was with him when...
No, Boone wasn't with him. I mean, like, he just...
When Locke shows Hurley the thing and he's like, the numbers are on the...
Yeah, Boone's still there.
Boone was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Boone's still there.
Mm.
Deus Ex Machina, so that is where
God,
Boone... That's where Boone gets into the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Plane falls off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Which you think that Locke should take, like, total accountability for that.
Yes.
I actually don't. I think that was an accident. I think that he thought it was a precarious situation, but I think that people who are driven in the way that he is driven, you just think, like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Nothing bad's going to happen. And then something bad happened, and then, like, he literally couldn't walk. Like...
Yeah, I mean...
He could not go up there, and they had to go up there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Locke did not have to go up there, which is why he should take some accountability for it.
He did, though.
He didn't have to.
If you have a vision like that, and then you find the freaking plane from your vision, you're telling me you don't have to go up there?
Do you know what a weak sauce excuse it is when somebody dies, and you go like, sorry, my legs weren't working, and I just had to get into that plane?
They actually weren't working, though.
Yeah, but... Imagine saying that, though. You know what I mean?
It's a magic island. Weird things happen. I get it.
So you're Locke,
and
you're going to say it to Jack, right? Like, hey, Jack.
After he comes carrying...
Yeah. Hey, Jack. Super rational doctor guy. Funny thing happened. I saw a plane in a dream. We went into the woods, and my legs stopped working. I saw the plane, and I was like, I got to get into that fucking plane. But I couldn't get into the plane because my legs weren't working. So I made Boone do it. And then, what do you know? The plane, which was balanced on top of a tree, fell out of the tree and hit the ground. And then Boone was crushed. And then I lied to you about it. And that's kind of how we got where we're at.
Well, and an important thing is the reason that the plane fell off the cliff. Because if Boone would have, like, been better with his weight, it probably would have been fine. But he goes up to the cockpit and he's like, we're the survivors of 186 or whatever. And then somebody comes through the radio and says, we're the survivors of 186. And then that's when the plane falls off the thing. So, like, personally, if it were me in that plane, I would not look at a plane from, like, the 50s and go, I bet that radio works. I'm going to climb to the top of this precariously placed plane to try that radio. It's a rusty, crusty plane.
Anyway, so then after that is when...
Oh, and they had the like, Mary Magdalene's with the heroin in it, and I was like...
Yeah.
What's that thing about the gun on the wall?
Chekhov's gun.
It was a Chekhov's gun. I was like, damn, this is going to be a thing.
So that's where if you are writing a story and you hang a gun up on the wall in the first act, it better go off by the second act or you need to take it out of the play, in Chekhov's case. So in this case, yeah, if you put a bunch of heroin on an island with a heroin
addict. And you got a
addict,
heroin addict. Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So in Do No Harm, the next episode, so that's where Claire goes into labor.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon,
Kate delivers the baby.
Yeah.
Jen helps. Charlie helps.
And that's because Boone is in the middle of dying and Jack is in the middle of giving a blood transfusion.
I had such a panic attack at that episode because, like, just like the air marshal, Jack had said with the air marshal, like, if his abdomen goes rigid, he's done. The sumbitch's abdomen was rigid way before he died because Jack kept giving him medicine because he would not stop. And then this shit with Boone was just completely out of control. Like, he was obviously not well. Like, obviously not going to make it. And then that's where we figure out that Son is, like, super freaking smart with herbalism, kind of homeopathic, natural fixes to things. She does the sea urchin to do the blood transfusion. So freaking smart. I never would have thought of that. But then the thing in that episode is Jack does all that blood transfusion looking like total ass. Like the whole episode, he looks terrible. And Boone is not getting better because his leg is snapped and the blood is pooling in his leg. So Jack goes, okay, well, I'm going to have to cut his leg off. And then they go to that roll top desk thing, that, like, container.
Yeah.
And I was looking at him and I was like, he's not going to do this. He's not going to do this. Please don't do this. Like, there's no point in this. Just let Boone go.
And then he died.
Yeah, because Jack was absolutely going to cut his leg off. And then Boone was like, no.
So then the next episode is when they're doing the funeral for Boone and Locke shows up and he's like...
he's like public enemy number one.
Yeah, and he asks for Shannon's forgiveness and she's like, LOL.
Yeah, she's
no.
like, no. She
sends Saeed out to do some interrogation. Saeed comes back and is like, I don't think Locke meant to kill him.
Yep.
And
they go back to the plane.
And Shannon's like, men ain't shit. And then they bring... all of a sudden, Jack's waking up from, like, being drugged by Kate because he won't take a nap.
Yeah,
and he's like, where is the key to the gun case? And she's like, IDK. And they run into the woods, and Shannon is pointing a gun at Locke.
She pops his ass.
Saeed tackles her, and the bullet grazes Locke's head. Mm-hmm. And then she just walks away, and nobody does anything.
Yeah, they never talk about it ever again. Again, like, it's just some, like, vigilante justice. I guess Locke felt like he needed to give that pound of flesh for sending Boone up to the freaking plane. Again, I think that if Boone had been more responsible about how he was distributing his weight in that plane, it would have been fine.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember so the next episode, which is the most important episode, in my opinion, for your development in the show, which is getting to learn the history of why Kate is so devastated about this little, And
she ought to be. Quit being such a freaking weirdo. Like, my God. I still don't know what the, like, inciting incident is that she's running from constantly. But I know what her demons are, which is her little boyfriend who was married with a baby, like 18-month-old baby.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed pretty happy. And then Kate, like, shows up in the middle of the night while his wife is so conveniently out of town with the baby.
More porno and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah, and she's like, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" And it's like 3 a.m.
Because they're waiting. They're waiting for the MRI.
Yeah, because her mom is dying of cancer, and so
then when her mom sees her, she's like,
freaks completely out. Yeah, so they, like, so romantically go out to some freaking tree on, like, a beef ranch because there's longhorns out there. Dig up a time capsule, listen to it. So cute. They make out. Kate goes to the hospital, sees her dying mama. Her mama flips out. So then her little boyfriend comes running around and she's just like, "I need your car keys." So instead of him just giving her the car keys or him driving his own car, he gives her the keys, gets in the car. She's running from the cops. She won't stop. He could have bailed. They're in a parking garage. He could have bailed. She was not going that fast. No. She barrels on through. The cops shoot through the freaking windshield, kill her boyfriend.
Yeah.
The only man she ever loved. And she murked him. And so, yeah, I am glad that she feels bad. She oughta.
Then we get to the finale of season 1.
And so it was so damn good. You slept the whole time.
Sure did.
Yeah. I watched it, and there was so much happening that finally on the third part of the finale, I started taking notes again because I was like, there is so much going on. There's no way I'm going to remember it. We start with, I finally understand why you're saying, "See you in another life, brother." It's the freaking Irish guy or Scottish guy. Yeah. What's his name?
Desmond.
I knew it started with a D.
Desmond. My name's Desmond.
Him and Jack are running stadiums in NFL stadium. Yeah, like a big stadium.
"I'll see you in another life, brother."
Yeah, and they just have a fun little convo, and he says that, and then, like, Desmond is the numbers guy who's putting the world-ending numbers in.
Yeah, which has not happened in the finale, but we did watch the first 2 episodes of season 2, and that's part of the 2 episodes that we can't.
Oh, the finale, I think, was they finally kind of. We still, I don't think, have seen, like, the turbine dinosaur, but we did meet some little smoky monsters, and they tried to suck Locke down in a hole. And I don't remember if it was Jack or Kate or somebody is trying to pull him up out of the hole, and he's like, "Let me go, let me go, let me go." This bitch was really gonna let himself go down in a hole in the ground from a smoke monster because the island said he should. He is fully bought into. He is a prophet of the island. The island is God. Everything that happens on the island is biblical, written in red, baby. And
by the way, they make it fairly clear in the episode, and it's been a long time since we watched it. The smoke is the turbine dinosaur.
That's
monster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't make the same noises, I don't think.
Yeah, so I think that's why I was trying to kind of steer you away from it, is because I think they just made a creative decision over time to not use the same noises from the early. They came up with a better noise. Actually, the noise they eventually use is actually from a roller coaster. Ooh. So it's like that, the combination of
the anticipation.
It's like sped up and like, yeah. So, anyway.
Oh, something we didn't talk about. God, the freaking Locke backstory. Bless his heart.
We did. Oh, you mean
where he gave his freaking kidney to his piece of shit dad or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was heartbroken. I mean, I was like, I think I might have cried on that one too. I felt so bad for him.
I was and we're not going to talk about it here unless you just magically come to the revelation. But that episode, it was very, very difficult to not spoil stuff for the future, because I think with a little bit of introspection, she could have spoiled something for herself from that episode for a future part of Lost. Yeah. So that episode in particular is a very important episode.
Yeah, and it is heartbreaking.
It is important for stuff happening on the island.
And that episode opens with him working at the toy store or whatever, and he teaches some little rando kid how to play Mousetrap. We bought our middle daughter Mousetrap for Christmas.
So she'll be opening Mousetrap on Christmas?
We just did some Christmas shopping, and I saw it, and I was like, it's Mousetrap. So we bought it.
So, anyway, Rousseau shows up to the beach to warn the survivors that the others were coming.
Yeah.
Tells them some of her own story. She was pregnant, came to the island when she was 16.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Their arrival heralded by a column of black smoke.
Yep. And we found out the Black Rock is like a freaking pirate ship.
Yep, and that's where that guy Arst starts showing up.
Oh, and he exploded.
Yeah, because the whole time he's like, I'm a scientist. And then he's like...
We met him for one episode watch him blow up.
He was like, y'all, that's not how you carry dynamite. This is how you... Then he just blows up.
And they were like, okay, don't do that.
And he's like, body parts are everywhere.
Yeah.
Just like,
Art the fart, bless him.
Anyway, so then they launch the raft.
Yep.
Successfully.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do. And it's Sawyer and Jen and Walt and Michael.
And they're out in the ocean.
Yeah, and then what's it called? A skiv?
Yeah, a skiv, yeah.
Yeah, a skiv shows up with these rapscallions, and they're in shipping lanes.
Yeah.
So they're thinking it's like a boat, and it's literally these dusty, nasty dudes, and they're like, we're going to take the boy. And it reminded me a little bit of... Castaway, when the raft falls apart and Tom Hanks is like, Wilson, because Michael is just caterwauling for Walt, which you would do you would do that, but it gave me a Castaway moment. And then him and Jen is gone, like he's completely gone, and Walt and Sawyer have some fun little moment. Sawyer got shot, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Trying to save Walt.
Yeah.
And then Sawyer wants Michael to like bend over and kiss his whole butthole for that. And Michael's like, my kid is gone. Like.
Yeah. This is season 2 also.
Is it?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
And you're like not trying to talk about the...
Well, I can't remember. It's been forever. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Rousseau leaves the Black Rock and Arts explodes while mishandling the dynamite. They encounter a monster, a cloud of black smoke. Mm-hmm. Rousseau steals Claire's baby.
Yes, she does.
Whom she's named Aaron.
Yeah.
Saeed surmises that Rousseau intends to attempt an exchange of Claire's baby for her own child with the others. Mm-hmm. Charlie and Saeed head toward the column
Which
of black
her child would be like 16 years old. Yeah. Danielle? Was that her baby's name? Danielle.
Charlie stares at it, finding himself conflicted. When Saeed and Charlie arrive on the beach with the black smoke, there are no other people, just a pyre and Rousseau and Aaron. She returns Aaron and tells them that she overheard the others saying that they were going after the boy. Mm-hmm. On the raft, the crew encounters the boat. Boat's crew turns out to be unfriendly and demands they hand over Walt.
Yep.
So that's Walt who they're going after, the boy. Mm-hmm. Sawyer, a shot, falls into the water and Jen goes after him as the group grabs Walt. An explosive is thrown onto the raft, destroying it, while Michael is thrown into the water. Meanwhile, Jack, Kate, Locke, and Hurley blow open the hatch, revealing a very deep, dark hole with a broken ladder.
That's right. That's right, yes.
We get the hatch open.
Yes.
So that's the
end.
And
Hurley's
season.
Like, don't do it! Because he sees the numbers.
The numbers, no, we can't.
Yeah, it's bad,
Yeah.
the numbers are bad. And Locke is like, I'm blowing this thing up. And he does. And then they all, it's one of those like the fun little.
So we get into season 2, like we got into season 2.
Yeah, we did.
At the next day. And then, so that's where you get... It opens with the Mama Cass song, that "Make Your Own Kind of Music," because Desmond is doing his like morning routine.
Yes,
and it seems really peaceful, making breakfast, doing dishes, working out, and all that.
And then you hear like beep 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 beep,
and he's got to go enter the numbers. 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers memorized. And there's like a big
You will.
timer.
You will.
There's a big timer, above the computer, obviously. Which, I mean, it's a whole keypad, isn't it?
It's like an old school, like an MS-DOS type computer.
Why didn't they just give him a number pad? Does he need a whole computer pad?
That's interesting that you noticed that. More things upcoming. So he types in the numbers, and then that's when Locke shows up. And over the course of the first 2 episodes, you see that same scene twice. Mm-hmm. So you see like
from
Locke
different
showing
perspectives.
Up, different perspectives.
Yeah.
Jack showing up. Kate, who of course
in the
goes,
vents.
Who of course Kate goes with Locke and is like, "Hey Jack, so what do you think about Locke going down the hatch? That's crazy." And Jack's like, "Yeah, that is crazy." And she's like, "I'm going to."
And he's like, "Well, I guess I gotta go.
I guess I gotta go.
You're too hot for me not to go."
Right. So they get down there, they meet Desmond, and Jack's like, "Oh my god, it's the Scottish guy I ran stadiums with."
Yeah, and he goes, because the reason he recognizes that is because I think Desmond is behind Locke, and he's got him in one of these, and he's like, "Drop the gun, brother."
Brother.
Yeah, and then Jack's like,
"I'll blow his brains out, brother."
That's it. Jack's like,
Right.
"Do I know you?" And then he steps out, and he's like, You. Yeah.
That's you.
That's you.
Yeah, so then they're...
Which, I was like, what? How did Desmond end up on the island?
Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah.
So something I want to point out is that when they do the story from Locke's perspective, Desmond says to Locke, do you remember what he says to him when he first sees him? This is important for the future. They haven't explained it yet, but Desmond points a gun at him and says, "Are you him?"
Are you him? And Locke's like, yes. Because he thinks he's like Jesus. Like...
And then Desmond's like, "Nope." Right?
Yeah, you're not him.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
It's going to be freaking Jack probably is him. Or maybe Walt.
Why would you ever greet somebody with "Are you him"?
Because he's obviously there waiting to... It's like a eternal thing, and you just pass it off to the next dude. Is it a 4? So he's waiting for the next person to show up who's going to be putting in the numbers.
42.
Ooh.
Yes. So, "Are you him?" And it's not a... It isn't...
Of course, it has to be a man that's going to keep the world running. That's fine.
Well, all they have to do is press buttons.
Could have said, "Are you them?"
Yeah.
He said, "Are you him?"
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, because if it were you and they said, "Just put these numbers in," you'd go, "Why?" Instead of like... Instead of like,
"Are you him?" Yes.
No, they have a... I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there is a response that Desmond was looking for that Locke did not give him. So
wasn't it like, what did the snowman say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did one snowman say to the other?
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is.
That's an old joke. Like that. Anybody that heard the beginning of that, that's like a dad joke. My dad told it to me when I was a kid.
What's the answer?
It smells like carrots. Yeah. What did one snowman say to the other? Smells like carrots. Yeah.
That's what the heralds of the earth, that's their passcode?
Babe, it's a code. It's just a handoff code. It's like how you know it's the person you're waiting for.
Except everybody over the age of 40 knows that joke, I guess.
You didn't know it.
I'm 31.
Yeah, but if I dropped into a hatch and I wasn't supposed to be there and somebody said, "Are you him?" I wouldn't know to say, "What did one snowman say to the other?" Right? Like... It's a code. Like...
Also, you're not 40 yet either. You didn't even call me on that.
I'm almost 40.
Almost.
Yeah, I turned 38 in a couple of months, so... no big deal. I don't worry about it. Anyway. So, thoughts. Because we are an hour into this. So, what did you think about season 1?
It took me a really long time, I feel like, for a TV show. For me to have any kind of like... Oh, I can't wait to watch the next one.
Some buy-in.
Yeah, but then once I got there, like, this process became really annoying. Because, like, I didn't want to talk.
She wanted to
I
binge.
wanted to watch. Like, and it's all right there. It's available. I could binge it. I'm capable, but I can't.
Yeah, because one of the things that's unique about us is that I'm an early morning person and she is a late night person. Yeah. So I'll get up I mean super early, earlier than I need to, all the time.
Yep.
I'm big into PlayStation. That's when I do a lot of my gaming. I play super early in the morning, and then she will stay up late at night, and so I can just, she could binge, I could go to sleep, and she could be watching episodes. Like,
yeah, I mean,
for all I know, she has watched them. I don't know.
No, I haven't. I promise.
Okay.
I have not.
But
yeah. I could, because I think I've talked about her, my friend Cindy, that is watching this show. When we started this podcast, she had not yet started Lost. She has now finished the whole show.
Yeah, we could finish it if it weren't for our podcast.
Yeah, so it's pissing her off because she keeps wanting to talk to me about it. And like now, I'm telling her the stuff that I'm seeing, and she's like, oh my God, I forgot about that. Because she saw it 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's, I just want to binge.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, all right, so we are now through the first 2 episodes of season 2. I think, I'm trying to remember if there was something specific that I wanted to get your... How did your opinion change radically about characters from the beginning to the end of season 1?
Yes.
And who did it change the most for from the beginning to the end? Come on. Easy answer.
Locke, probably.
Locke.
I was...
Of course.
Man, I was...
She was not a Locke fan.
No. And then I felt so bad when we got the backstory about giving his friggin' kidney away to that loser daddy or whatever. Oh, God, I just felt... I literally felt bad for the things that I have said bad about Locke.
Do you remember that how that came about? Like, how did he get hooked up with his dad?
That lady who's been in so many things, and I cannot remember her name.
His mom.
Yeah, but the actress, like, she's been in like a bazillion things. I think she was the mom on Stuart Little. Was she the mom on Stuart Little?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, he's teaching this kid how to play mousetrap, and there's this freaking weird ass redhead lady in a shitty fur coat standing around watching him. He chases her out of the store eventually, and he's like, "Why are you following me?" And she's like, "I'm your mom." But it turns out that the dad was using her to manipulate Locke into a relationship with Daddy so that Locke would give him a kidney because his bitch ass was on dialysis.
You said that he manipulated him?
Yes.
What's another word for that?
Played.
What's another word for that?
Conned. Locke is not a con man.
No.
His daddy's a con. Is his daddy Sawyer? Is Locke's dad Sawyer?
Did they say that in the episode? So I cannot confirm or deny.
I'm going to explode.
Suffice it to say that there's a lot of con artists on Lost, so...
I'm going to explode.
So I'm not confirming that. I am telling you that there are a lot of con artists on Lost, so...
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a whole thing in Lost.
Yeah, I still think that Jen and Sun are the least interesting people on the island. They're so damn boring.
Less than Kate?
Kate is not interesting, but she's annoying as hell.
I think that Kate serves a good purpose on the island in that it's like she's so chaotic that like she'll drive things forward. So like when Jack is content to like sit still and not move things forward, Kate will move shit forward. She'd be like,
yeah, because he's chasing that tail.
I cannot sit still. I gotta go deal with this stuff. She serves a good purpose on the island, and I think Evangeline Lilly is a good actress. So
yeah.
You know, she's doing well with what she was
Yes.
given. It's just that she wasn't given much.
Yes.
Like that backstory is pitiful in season 1. Like it's a abysmal backstory.
Yeah.
I have disproportionately strong feelings about the Michael storyline because I hate Susan so much.
Yeah, well, and you're a dad, and you know
yeah,
you're getting it from the dad perspective. You know,
what is her possible perspective other than just being a horrible monster?
she just thinks that Michael is an unfit father, and
I mean,
she
fit enough to have the baby with him, and fit enough for him to pay her way through.
Any fool
law
can
school.
have a baby, but yeah, that was some quality stuff that he did. And then she just, I don't know if it was the money that got to her head, if it was her boss that got to her head, but she just
Blood cancer did for sure. By the end of it, anyway. I do not feel bad. Susan is a monster. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Okay. Well, you know, she I'm sure felt like she was doing the best thing for Walt and also herself. Like, she's a selfish bitch.
I kind of got the sense that, like, the pregnancy is an accident, right? And she just really regrets having had a baby with him, maybe thinking that he's, like, less than her because he's, like, a laborer or an artist or whatever, and she's a lawyer.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Did not save her life, though, interestingly.
Yeah, I think I was super wrong about Locke. I still don't think that I'm wrong about Charlie.
You are.
I hate that Charlie and the guy that plays him have like a similar personal trajectory, because the guy that plays him is obviously a butthole. I really don't want Charlie, but he is a butthole, kind of. Like,
he is.
He's some washed out loser, you know, hanging on to, you know, his has-been dreams or whatever. But now he's got Claire, he's got Aaron.
He's got a serious misogyny problem.
He does not.
Claire made it really...
He's not good with boundaries.
No, Claire made it exceedingly clear what she wanted, right? He doesn't listen to her.
He does not.
Ever. He never listened. No. Let me talk. Anyway, get it?
That's the end of the show, folks. We gotta go deal with some stuff.
So he doesn't listen to her.
Like, I know, but he's desperate to be somebody's savior because he has just fucked up everything his whole life.
She didn't want to come off the beach, and he did that fake peanut butter shit. She wanted him to go and get Jack when they were in the woods, all right? And because he, like, screwed around and didn't do what she wanted him to do, and he literally told Ethan where she was at, instead of just running straight to Jack. If he had just listened...
Oh, you mean when Ethan hung him in the tree by his neck?
Yeah, but at that point...
Getting his whole ass whooped?
Ethan was still blending in at that point, all right? Charlie runs straight to Ethan and was like, hey, there's a whole ass baby happening back there. Like, you go get Jack so that I can go back and be with Claire, even though she told me to go get Jack.
Yeah, okay, well, she didn't know that Ethan would be in the, you know...
She didn't know Ethan. She wanted Charlie to
go
get...
He's a dude in the island. If you find somebody... If it were me, and if we were in the woods, and I'm pregnant and I'm having a baby, and, you know, you got to travel a mile or so to go get the doctor... I'm going to tell you, obviously, to go. If you can find somebody to go deliver that message and you can bring yourself back to me, that's what I prefer.
Do you not remember that Charlie was trying to, like, walk her through Lamaze and shit? And so she was like, yeah, exactly. Babe, you would get annoyed at me for so much less. Like, if you said, because our daughter's school is right around the corner, right? If you said, hey, Coraline's sick, go get her, right? And I'm working from home, and I like skipped over next door, and I was like, hey, go get Coraline for me, would you? Right? You'd be so annoyed, and it's just right there.
It's
and
so
I have
different.
and I have a car. It isn't, right? Because you asked me to do it, right? You didn't have me ask somebody else to do it. You asked me to do it.
Whatever.
So that
I hate that. I hate that.
You hate that I'm right, and that it's striking you that...
I hate that maybe I'm wrong about Charlie.
Charlie sucks. He sucks. Like, he hooked into Claire immediately.
He did.
Because
she's vulnerable.
She's vulnerable. And nobody else, she's worried nobody else will have her, and she, like, kind of expresses that, and Charlie jumps right into the fray, as it were.
You are not
My
wrong.
opinion did not change about Charlie from episode 1 to the end of the season.
I think Charlie is doing his best.
I don't think he is. If he's doing his best, it's pitiful. It's pitiful. No. So the death toll so far, the marshal has died. Boone died.
That lady that drowned.
Yep, Arst.
Arst, Boone, Ethan. That's it, I think.
Yeah, of the people.
Obviously,
that
the
were
whole rest of the
identified,
plane. Like,
So, yeah.
yeah, we still.
Well, don't forget that
Rose, she was like, my husband's still out there. She's wearing his ring on her necklace.
And Boone gets on the radio in the airplane,
and he's
like, "We're the survivors of 815."
I said that, but I said, was that
go,
Boone's voice?
"We're the survivors of 815."
Right. I mean, it's
said,
a whole ass island.
I said then. No, it wasn't. You said it's that Boone's voice. I said no.
It sounded like his voice.
I'm telling you, it isn't.
It wasn't.
I'm not trying
okay.
to trick you. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, Rose fully believes that her husband is not dead. I think Jack's daddy's not dead. I think he's been brought back to life and he's somewhere moseying about.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, predictions for the next part of season 2, as the next episode is called Orientation.
Ooh.
Let's see. It is a lock episode.
I love the lock episodes. He's not paralyzed. We still don't know how he got paralyzed, right? We don't know how he became paralyzed because the last lock episode was him giving his kidney away.
Right.
So he's still mobile. So maybe orientation is going to be him getting that desk job at the box company because he's paralyzed now and he has to have a desk job.
Yes. No.
No? Oh.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember if we have. I feel like
I do not know why he's paralyzed.
I feel like you'd remember it if you saw it.
So. Yeah, I don't know why he's paralyzed. The last scene was of Locke in his shitty little car crying, and he's like punching the, upper part, screaming.
The roof of his car.
Yeah, the roof. I couldn't think of the word.
The top part.
The upper part of his car.
Upper car.
Yeah, and bless that baby. So yeah, I still don't know what's up with him. Orientation. So Desmond is probably gonna tell Locke, Kate, and Jack about what the fuck is going on in the hatch, and he's gonna give them an orientation.
42.
About how he's gonna keep the world from ending with his numbers.
Okay.
And I bet you that Hurley is going to come back to the hatch, and he's going to go in.
I don't think in this episode, if I remember right.
No,
I don't think so.
He's pretty scared because of those numbers.
Yeah.
But he'll go in at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this video episode. If you want the episodes with the terrible sound quality, I'm happy to provide those. Just
hours and hours of terrible audio.
Just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, we will see you in another life, brother.